Hey everyone! In today's very in-depth video, I want to provide a deep dive into the early signs of dementia. But before we get into the symptoms, I want to share an illustrative story from my clinical practice about being cautious not to overdiagnose dementia. Years ago, a married couple came into my functional medicine office. The wife was concerned because she felt her husband was demonstrating early signs of dementia. When I asked the wife when she first started noticing these symptoms, she replied that it was when her husband began incorrectly diagnosing her with having dementia. As we spoke, I observed the dynamic between them. Whenever the husband would stumble on a word or forget a small detail, his wife would promptly correct him. She'd say things like, "No honey, you're mixing up your words again. I can tell your memory is getting worse." I gently explained to the wife that constantly criticizing and reminding someone of their mistakes can actually reinforce the problem. It creates anxiety and makes the person second-guess themselves even more. Instead, I suggested she try an experiment where she completely stops correcting her husband for 1 week. Let him make mistakes without jumping in. Just observe compassionately without judgment. When they returned to see me a week later, the transformation was remarkable. The husband was articulate, focused, and exhibited no signs of cognitive decline whatsoever. The takeaway here is that many apparent early signs of dementia can actually stem from myriad other factors like chronic stress, sleep deprivation, blood sugar imbalances, medication side effects, and more. So as we cover these potential early indicators, please keep in mind they may not necessarily imply full-blown dementia, especially if appearing only intermittently or mildly. Get properly evaluated before concluding it's dementia. Now, what exactly is dementia? It's a progressive decline in mental functions like memory, reasoning, attention and language. The hallmark of dementia is atrophy or shrinkage of brain tissue over time. The hippocampus is one of the first regions affected. The hippocampus plays a central role in memory consolidation and spatial navigation. As it deteriorates, symptoms like memory loss and disorientation emerge. Here are 6 common early signs of dementia to look out for. Difficulty organizing, planning and problem solving. This represents a decline in executive functioning skills which are controlled by the prefrontal cortex. Simple tasks become increasingly challenging. Uncharacteristic personality changes and inappropriate behavior. Portions of the brain that govern personality like the frontal, temporal and limbic regions start malfunctioning. Constipation is very common in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's patients. This relates to the strong two-way communication between the gut and the brain. Sensory dysfunction including deteriorating vision, hearing, taste, smell and appetite. The sensory cortex and pathways begin deteriorating. Increasing problems with concentration, focus, recalling conversations, recalling recent events, remembering appointments, locating objects and overall memory loss. This correlates with progression of hippocampus and related temporal lobe damage. Language issues including struggling to find the right words, substituting words incorrectly, repeating phrases, reduced vocabulary, garbled speech and inability to follow along with conversations. These relate to progressive damage to the hippocampus, temporal lobe and broader language centers. Impaired spatial navigation and inability to follow directions or locate unfamiliar places. This signifies damage to the hippocampus where our mental GPS system is coordinated. Now if you recognize several of these symptoms in yourself or a loved one, take prompt action. Don't rationalize it as normal aging. Implementing specific interventions can help reverse this decline if caught early. Here are 7 steps I recommend to help restore cognitive health. Ensure adequate vitamin B1 intake, either through diet or supplementation. Thiamine or B1 deficiency is clinically linked to hippocampal degeneration. Alcohol abuse depletes B1 stores. A high-carb diet also increases your need for B1 since it's required to metabolize carbohydrates. Nutritional yeast is an optimal source of bioavailable B1. Heal your gut by avoiding inflammatory foods like gluten, boosting fiber intake, consuming diverse vegetables, and adopting intermittent fasting. These measures help cultivate a healthy microbiome. Parkinson's and Alzheimer's patients tend to have GI inflammation and imbalanced gut flora. The gut-brain axis is bidirectional, so gut health powerfully impacts the brain. Incorporate broccoli sprouts and other sprouted seeds which contain unique compounds like sulforaphane that protect the brain. Unlike the mature plant, sprouts contain bioactive molecules that aren't present at other growth stages. The phytochemicals in sprouts neutralize neuroinflammation and oxidative stress that are drivers of neurodegeneration. Adopt a high-fat, low-carb ketogenic diet along with intermittent fasting to nourish the brain with ketones. The brains of Alzheimer's patients show impaired glucose metabolism, so supplying an alternative ketone fuel source is crucial. MCT oil and exogenous ketone supplements can further elevate circulating ketone levels. Periodic 24-72-hour fasts activate adaptive cellular repair pathways as well. Take a ginkgo biloba supplement containing the extract EGB 761. Multiple clinical studies validate ginkgo's ability to improve symptoms of dementia and Alzheimer's by enhancing microcirculation in the brain and supporting neurotransmitters like acetylcholine. Incorporate lion's mane medicinal mushroom. Both animal research and human trials show lion's mane powerfully stimulates nerve growth factor production while reducing beta-amyloid plaque. This bioactive fungus truly enhances cognitive functioning in remarkable ways. Additionally, optimize intake of omega-3s like DHA from fatty fish, vitamin D from sun exposure, zinc from oysters, and sleep duration. Engage in regular exercise to boost cerebrovascular blood flow and oxygenation. These collective measures ward off dementia. In summary, intervening at the first signs of cognitive decline with diet, lifestyle, microbiome, targeted nutrients and anti-inflammatory modalities can reverse symptoms and prevent progression. But once again, it's imperative to act quickly and decisively when you notice mental slipping. Let me know if you have any other questions. I have a wealth of in-depth knowledge on optimizing brain health and avoiding dementia, so please reach out if you need anything else.